I'm Dale Waxler, and I have spent the majority of the past 47 years in my shop building and rebuilding 2- and 4-wheel artifacts for the sake of history. My building is full and my shop is overflowing with projects so rich in history, they are screaming at my conscience every day for new life. Yeah! Now follow me through the evolution of what I call real school, and we'll bring these bikes back to life. Well, you've seen the top and you've seen this bottom. Now you're going to see it all right here at Wheels Through Time. I'm going to assemble this bike before your very eyes, but what I want to tell you is this. It takes very few tools to do this. We're talking a 7/16 wrench, a 1/2-inch wrench, a 1/2 socket, a 7 socket, a little tapping hammer, a wooden screwdriver, a manifold wrench, and that's all it takes to put this WR motor together. I might have missed 1 or 2 small things, but with that being said, I'm going to jump right in, tell you about the products we use. Core oil, great lubricant, use it for lots of things. Love to use some great grease, a few applications, always good. Oil squirt can, keep that thing lubed up while you're building it. And over here we have some mercury outboard, needle bearing lube. Use that on the ball bearings. That's it. Time to go to work. One thing I didn't show you, it's right in the manual from 1942. And that, of course, is how to check for connecting rod alignment on any Harley-Davidson motorcycle. And I'm going to show you that right now. This is what's called a Harley squaring plate. You install the squaring plate squarely on the cylinder, and you bring the piston down, and you want to make sure that the distance on both sides of the piston is equal. So if the piston was tilted, obviously your piston is running up and down in the cylinder. So you take this jig, take both cylinders. Now here's the test. Pack of rolling papers, unused. Got your paper underneath one side of the piston, push it down, release the pressure slightly, paper comes right out. You can see a small mark on the paper. Go to the opposite side of the engine. Jam the piston down. Similar mark on the paper. Check the other cylinder. Square it up. Easy pull. Square it up. Easy pull. That means this set of rods and pistons are square with the lower end of the engine. These pistons will go up and down straight, and that's the lesson you're going to learn right now. Now it's time to get back to work. That was a fun job. I really enjoyed putting these engines together. Had a backup one time. I don't know what went wrong, but always better safe than sorry. Putting the old original Harley air-cooled. Check these things out. These are the original WR high-performance air-cooled spark plugs. And with the last spark plug in, the pile of parts got smaller. The tools stayed about the same. I added a few, not too many. And this 46 WR motor is pretty close to being done. Got to bring some ignition to it. Got to get this thing bolted in the frame, get all the stuff hooked up. With that being said, I'm going to put it in the frame right now. It really felt great to put that engine in the chassis. If you really think about it, that engine probably hadn't been in that chassis for 50 or 60 years. It was happy to be at home. It's not often to get the book out in this school, but I got the book out for this one. This is a Waco Magneto for the WR45. It doesn't work. This is the original, actually it's a copy of the 1950 WR owner's book. It gives you some instruction on the WR mag, and it's made by Waco. They make mags for tractors, and I really want to get this bike running today, but if I don't get this going, we're not going to be running. So inside this mag, it all looks really nice and clean. I can't seem to get it to make a spark. So what we're going to do on the 46 is we're going to put in a Fairbanks mag, and I'm going to teach you how to time a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. The important thing to know is all Harley-Davidson V-twin motorcycles time the same. Might be a little variance in where the piston is when the spark goes off, but the method of when the spark fires is the same. Now, there is a big difference though. This Magneto, both of these fire at the same time. On the Waco, it has a rotor, different deal. We're not going there right now. Where we're going is right over here to the 46 Harley, and we'll get this Waco installed, show you how to time the machine, put all the parts on it. That bike ought to start right up. Got an old friend of mine named Ed Strain. I think Ed's 75 years old, still does Magnetos. He goes, send me one, Dale, I'll get it fixed up for you. And I knew that Sportster Magneto not only would work in a Harley 45 or a Flathead 80, but I knew his Magneto would work perfect. Well, I'm going to teach you how to time a Harley-Davidson engine. As I said, all Harley-Davidson engines time the same way, panhead, knucklehead, flathead. If you look in the book, it says turn the engine over in the direction it spins till the front intake valve closes. A quarter of a turn later, the timing marker will appear in the timing hole on the other side. That's what the book says. Now I'm going to show you how that works. And it's most important to understand that when you time a Harley, you're timing it on the front cylinder on this particular application. So with having the spark plug out, I can actually see touch the intake valve. So if you look right here at my finger, this intake valve is going to go up, and now it's going down. Okay, after it goes down, a quarter of a turn later, the timing mark will appear on the other side. So what we know is the piston is coming up, okay, on the compression stroke. That's when the Magneto lights off the spark and you have the explosion, and that happens a lot, like 7,000 times a minute in this engine. So I think I have the timing mark pretty close on the other side. Come on around the other side, we'll have a look. Every Harley-Davidson has a timing mark, and that mark is on the flywheel, and of course different marks mean different things. The majority of the timing marks on a Harley-Davidson indicate the place where the points should start to break or when the ignition should fire on the front cylinder. That's what the WR has. Well, a long way to go on the WR, but I think I can get it going today. We are on the timing with that timing mark located on the left side in the timing plug, and all Harleys have a timing plug. With that located, we next go to installing the Magneto. Now, whether it's a Magneto or a distributor, they're all the same on a Harley. There's a small lobe, which is the front cylinder, a large lobe, which is the rear cylinder. Now, this Magneto is already rebuilt and ready, so I don't need to worry about setting the points. What I need to do is worry about getting lucky and getting this Magneto set in the right time the first time, mark it, and then I'll be able to put the Magneto lid on it, put it in place, put the plug wires on it, get this thing buttoned up. And I didn't make it on the first shot. Now the timing of an engine is actually very critical, and there's some guesswork involved if you want to do it that way. But the accurate way is to get the timing mark, and that the ignition points, which are in the Magneto, should be just starting to break with the Magneto in the right place. So with that being said, you can test it with the timing light running, you can test it with a static light, or you can test it with some rolling papers. And it's very similar to checking connecting rods. As you can see right here, that paper will not come out. And if I rotate the Magneto right to here, see how nice and loose that is? Now even just a few degrees that way will tighten it up, and a few degrees that way is loosening it up. Another interesting thing that most people don't know about Harley ignition timing, that it starts with points gap. If your points are not gapped properly, you'll never have the ignition time properly. And the level of importance is every 1,000th, and this is important, every 1,000th of points error is 3 degrees off in timing. And it's an important lesson to know. So this engine's going to be time perfect, because I'm about to lock this thing down and then we're going to start throwing some parts on this thing, and the clock may be ticking, but we're going to be running in no time. I don't think it's going to be a big marathon to put this bike together. One thing I wanted to mention also, and that is suppliers of parts for these old bikes. I have a lot of friends in the industry, but a lot of the hard-to-find nuts, bolts, and hardware for all old Harleys, the Colony Company, located in Ohio, right here, Colony. They make every nut and bolt for almost every year Harley. They're perfect right down to the date code. And the part that I just sourced from them in Scooter's box of junk. I could not find the original shifter pin. Little tiny part, and Colony makes it. So, with a little bit of luck, this thing's just going to keep right on plugging. Just hang right in there. You can watch this bike come together in no time. The pace always picks up when you're this close to the end, and I really think that we can have a running bike in no time. I cleaned the gas tanks out the other day. The oil tank was kind of crummy on the inside, and I've got the oil line set up. Now, one thing that's hugely important, especially on a flathead motor, and that is to prime the pump. And so this is the feed pump on the right, feed line, oil return line on this side. So what I'm going to do is, whoa, I got a little over exuberant. We're going to feed a little oil into the feed line. That'll give that engine a break. The reason this engine hasn't leaked so far is there hasn't been any oil in it. So let's hope it doesn't leak. Exhaust pipes are next. Okay. Are you gonna do it for me? This is it. Moment of truth. Starting procedure. Turn the gas on. Gas on. Make sure the throttle is turned back. Get the Kickstarter ready. Going to give it two kicks on choke. You know how you choke it? You put your hand on it, get gas all over it. Watch when I choke this. The gas is going to come running out of this thing because that's the way WRs do. That's one. Oh, look at that. It's going to start right up. Yeah! That's what they're supposed to do. Scooter, thanks for selling me a great bike. It's time to get it out for a ride, burn some rubber.